All right, class, let's keep trucking here. Dealing with Inca Empire here, I want to give you some understanding of kind of how it functioned. So, when the Inca are able to add an area to their empire, um, their kind of strategy for doing that is really similar, I think, anyway. I've never seen anybody make this argument, but not that they'd have cause to. But remember the flower wars of the Aztecs, like come in playing your drums and maybe it'll just fold. So, yeah, the first tactic to come in, intimidate, negotiate. The idea that you can't tax a dead person, so you don't want to kill the community, right? So march the army up to the doorstep and then give gifts and food and textiles. And imagine 140,000 people coming up to your village. So they would negotiate with the local Caracas, who would then be considered the Inca representative in that area. And remember, they're going to put a couple of Inca officials around and make sure he's not uh, being antithetical to the empire, to Cusco. And the Caracas, the chiefs, are given even more gifts. So it's really like, just through generosity, subjugation through generosity. And of course, if that didn't work, they would get and go to war. So this idea of mita labor, this is what I was going to say. One of the ways that I think taxation and this idea of getting labor as tribute got into play. So traditional society in this area, traditional communities have this system of reciprocal labor. So every individual would owe labor to the local chief, but then would also have the ability to call on that labor when they needed it. Maybe think of an Amish barn raising or something like that. So you put in your time, but that stuff is going to work for you as well. And you see images here: a woman weaving and some men farming. They're planting there. And so that's the system that gets co-opted. And instead of you owing kind of labor to your community, you're owing labor to the state, right? Micmac is another kind of Inca institution where entire communities were relocated. And you see on the slide, it became a tool to used by the Inca to conscript, pacify regions, appropriate labor, moving troublesome hinterland communities to the center, right? Severely loyal communities might get moved to the outskirts, stuff like that. The Huacas, remember these sacred objects and sacred places, they're maintaining that system and they're celebrating that system. And I think that's one of the ways that, if you're, some just schmo in some community that just got taken over by the Inca, at least they're respecting your local sacred places, sacred objects, saying, yeah, man, that's the deal, and that is sacred and it is special. I think that was really smart on their part, as opposed to like creating some kind of splintered religious whatever. So we danced around it a little bit in an earlier video, the Aklawasi, the House of the Chosen Women. So these are women effectively co-opted, taken from their communities. They're property of the state. They're brewing chicha and weaving. Also became concubines of royalty. They were given as gifts and also sacrificed. Very often, archaeologists have found Inca mountain shrines with a sacrificial mummy, and that sacrificial mummy is usually a young girl. Contact period chroniclers imply that being a chosen woman was an honor, but we don't necessarily know if that was true. Remember, these are men writing at Spanish men. Um, it doesn't change the reality of oppression and control that the Auclas face at the state. Is a system of oppression, really. But it's important to remember that state formation was intertwined with gender hierarchy in this way. All right, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.